Hello everybody, Dagmar Bryant, Mindset and Transformational Coach, coming to you today to talk about risk versus reward. Do you take the occasional risk? Do you stay in your comfort zone? Do you actually look at the potential rewards of doing something differently? Well, for many people, they don't. They choose to look at the safe option and never look at the rewards or the benefits that they may get for stepping out of their comfort zone and taking that leap of faith into something entirely different. Take, for example, the person who really wants to open their own business, but they've got a mortgage, they've got kids, so they're really reluctant to look at the long-term rewards. They can understand that they're there, but maybe they're focused so much on that monthly or weekly, whatever it is, paycheck, that they're not prepared to sacrifice those potential rewards for the safety of that weekly or monthly paycheck. In those kind of situations, what I would probably suggest to the person is, if they possibly can, maybe try doing the business on a part-time basis and just starting it out as a hobby, something on the side, while still working, so that you can see if the rewards and the benefits will actually come to fruition. You'll have to excuse me, everyone. I am totally melting here this morning. It is very, very humid, very muggy. I've just been for my walk, so I am I'm just melting here in front of you. So I'm going to keep going with this. But let's talk about the risks for a moment. I had a friend of mine, Glenn and I were in Las Vegas quite a few years ago, and a friend of mine had sold his house not that long previously. And if I remember, probably by the time he'd paid off his mortgage and all his debts, he probably had about 200,000, the equivalent of 200,000 pounds or 200,000 US dollars. And he said, what about I just put it on red on the roulette table? And I said, I don't think that's a very good idea. I mean, just potentially look at all that you could be losing. He said, yeah, but look at the rewards. I said, not a good idea, because we know the house always wins. And I said, well, I tell you what, why don't you do a dummy transaction, that you don't actually put it down, but on the next roll of the dice, that's when you're going to put the money on red, as if you would have. And sure enough, did the roll of the dice and it came up black. And I said, oh, aren't you glad that you wouldn't have done that? You would have lost all of your hard-earned money. So that's one of those cases where risks versus rewards doesn't get you the benefits necessarily that you're hoping for, because you've got so much that you can lose. Now, if you're a person who's got millions of dollars or pounds in the bank, then that probably doesn't matter so much. But on balance, yes, it probably wasn't worth it. That's entirely different if you're, for example, on a game show. Let's pretend that you were to go on Millionaire and you get to the end. They give you the choice. You've got to the 500,000 mark, and then they say to you, do you want to have the last question? And you've got the choice of getting up to $1 million. Well, if you weigh it up, you could say, well, I've got the 500,000. That's a lot of money. I'll walk away. Thank you very much. But by the same token, you never had it before you went on the show. So is it really yours already? Are you prepared to risk it? See how that's a different risk versus reward? I think in everything in life, we need to consider, do we want to take that leap of faith? It's like in the previous video when I spoke to you about me going bungee jumping. Yes, it's hugely risky, but by the same token, you're attached to a rope, you're jumping off a bridge, and the rewards are that feeling of absolute freedom and of just doing something differently were definitely there. And the safety issue, well, if it's done properly, it's like jumping out of an airplane. If your chute is packed properly and you've been properly trained, it should be reasonably safe, as long as you don't do anything stupid. Doesn't mean that I'm necessarily going to jump out of a plane anytime soon. Ask yourself, next time you're making a decision, whether it's got to do with family, whether it's got to do with work or business, Is it something that you would like to try something new? What are the risks versus the reward? On a very simple level, next time you're going out dining at your favorite restaurant, are you going to, if it's an Indian restaurant, are you going to have your same old chicken madras, or are you going to try the goat curry? Ask yourself, wouldn't you like to try some new experiences, some new adventures that are fairly low risk? That's maybe the best way to start. Try things that are low risk to take you out of your comfort zone. And really, then you can get to see the rewards, and that'll help you to take that further and further. It's like the person who has never stepped outside their hometown and they go about 50 miles away. The next time they go 100 miles away, and all of a sudden they're spreading their wings. I would encourage you to spread your wings. Do it safely and do it analytically, that you work out whether it's good for you, but look at the benefits that you can get for yourself. Tell me your stories. What are the risks and the rewards of some of the adventures that you have taken on? Have you done something that's yielded a not so good result? What happened? What about some great adventures that you'd like to share with us? Thanks for listening, guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and share, and talk to you again another day.